watching Fox 35 News Plus, streaming on Fox Local.
Well, good morning to you. Welcome in to Fox 35 News Plus, a busy morning here in the Fox 35 newsroom. We are showing you two live pictures across Florida right now. On your left there is the Destin Executive Airport in Destin, where Governor Ron DeSantis is slated to hold a news conference any minute now. That's scheduled to begin at 11 a.m. Governor DeSantis, as well as Dave Kerner, the director of the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. That is scheduled to begin any minute now. On the right, you are looking at the office of Congressman Darren Soto in Kissimmee. He is scheduled to hold a news conference at 11 as well. You see that placard beside the podium saying "Standing Up for Central Florida." He's going to be joined by other elected officials, community leaders, and some other folks from the community there. The plan is to highlight what they call the, quote, negative and dangerous impacts of Trump's recent executive orders, specifically about immigration crackdown, and also tackle the proposed freeze on federal funding. So those are just a couple of the things we are monitoring this morning. Looks like Congressman Soto is coming in right now. So let's go ahead and listen in to this news conference as it begins at his office in Kissimmee. You can see a number of other officials and community members behind him as well. So let's listen in as this news conference gets underway.
Okay, do you have Facebook Live ready?
We're about to. Yeah,
Okay.
I just want to position everybody.
Okay. Please, everybody. How you doing?
They're still getting things ready
Live.
there.
Thank you
I
all
do
for
see Florida House member Johanna Lopez behind him as well, and several other officials in the standing behind him there as this
Good
news
morning,
conference gets
everyone.
underway.
Today we gather to stand up for Central Florida and stop the Republican ripoff. We will not allow President Trump to illegally defund countless federal programs Central Floridians rely on every day. We're here to stand up for them. Jobs training programs, kid care, Healthy Start, Meals on Wheels, veteran services, housing, food assistance, public safety, and so much more were almost taken away from us. And it was blatantly illegal under the Constitution and the Impoundment Control Act. We will stand for the law. The budget is a law, and yes, even presidents have to follow it. They just can't pick and choose whatever they want to fund and whatever they don't. Otherwise, it's just a Republican ripoff of funds that were passed by law, by the Congress, for the benefit of Central Floridians. Now we know this week that the court stopped Trump's government-wide freeze order, and only then did he capitulate by rescinding it. When we stand up, we win. But unlawful freeze orders still remain, including an executive order that stops funding for local jobs, infrastructure, and energy projects under the guise of trying to stop clean energy. This affects all infrastructure law and IRA projects in Central Florida. It could affect thousands of jobs and infrastructure related to I-4, Orlando International Airport, Sunrail, Brightline, clean energy projects, rural broadband, electric vehicle charging stations, and more. And he has vowed to try to take other actions to unlawfully block these programs. And like we did last week, we will continue to stand up to stop them. The Constitution gives the power of the purse to Congress and Congress only. Even as the American people elected Donald Trump as president, they also elected me and 214 other members of Congress who are part of the Democratic caucus. Oh yeah, we can applaud that. This has created the second closest House in American history. 3 votes separate the majority from the minority. We will continue to use the power of the purse, the legislative process, and our oversight powers, and we will stand up for Central Florida. We have also seen other abuses of power. Trump has tried to intimidate Central Florida's federal workers with loyalty oaths, intimidation tactics, and buyout scams. This will decimate the federal workforce, hurt veterans' benefits, Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP, and make air travel less safe. We will stand with our federal workers, veterans, seniors, and local families. Isn't that right?
All right, that's right. Go on.
Trump is also trying to strip thousands of dreamers in Central Florida of their federal protections, while the GOP Florida legislature is trying to take away their in-state tuition. These young people know no country other than the U.S. They are trying to go to school to improve themselves and better our economy. And there are tens of thousands in Central Florida. We're here to stand up for our dreamers. President Trump also stopped the 18-month extension of temporary protective status for thousands of Venezuelans living in Central Florida. These Venezuelan refugees are family members of local citizens, are legally here under TPS, and are keeping our economy running strong. I'm proud today to lead a letter with multiple members of Congress to stop this termination and make sure we protect local Venezuelan families. They are members of local citizens, families, and we will stand with them. The reality is, more deportations equal more inflation, and this will affect everyone. We will soon hear from other Central Floridians about these attacks. Brevemente en español. Nosotros estamos aquí para defender a la Florida Central y parar el robo republicano. Nosotros estamos aquí para parar al presidente Trump, para tratar y terminar muchos programas que hispanos y todo floridano central usa cada día. Nosotros vamos a proteger Kid Care, trabajos, Healthy Start, Meals on Wheels, servicios por veteranos, servicios de haciendas, asistencia de comida y seguro público. Estos esfuerzos son ilegales en nuestra Constitución y el Impoundment Control Act. Nosotros vamos a defender la ley. El presupuesto es una ley y sí, presidentes necesitan cumplir también. Nosotros ganamos esta semana en el corte, pero hay otras órdenes que continúan, que pueden afectar infraestructura por autopistas, por aeropuertos y por otros proyectos de energía limpia. Este puede afectar muchos trabajos que Hispano tiene en Florida Central y muchos otros en este momento. Nosotros vamos a continuar a defender la ley, especialmente estos ataques en los Dreamers. Estos jóvenes, esta parte del sueño americano. Ellos saben este país solamente y vamos.
That is Congressman Darren Soto speaking in Kissimmee at his office there, joined by a number of other elected officials. He was talking about the Trump funding freeze, speaking against that, saying when we stand up, we win. He was also talking about a number of other Trump policies, executive orders, including the immigration crackdown. On the left there, you see inside the Destin Executive Airport, where a crowd is gathered, some law enforcement officials as well. Governor DeSantis is scheduled to hold a news conference that was likely going to begin any minute now. So we are standing by and waiting to see what happens with that. He'll be joined by Dave Kerner, the director of the Florida Department of Highway Safety and Motor Vehicles. Now, we do know that the governor has been holding immigration roundtables. This does not appear to be that. This is a news conference, but we will wait and see on that. Let's go ahead and listen back in as Congressman Soto continues to speak in Kissimmee.
Gracias, congresista Darren Soto, por habernos organizado para hacer sentir nuestra voz. Así que today I stand before you not just as a legislator, but as an advocate for justice a voice for our hardworking immigrants communities, and as a fighter for the dignity of every immigrant student who calls Florida home. The cancellation of the TPS is a direct attack on thousands of individuals who have built their lives here, who contribute to our economy, and who raise their families with the same hopes and dreams that we all share. These are not strangers. They are our neighbors, our friends, our co-workers, our family members. They have fled unimaginable crisis, natural disaster, political instability, and violence, seeking nothing more than safety and an opportunity to thrive, to strip them of their protections, and to turn our backs on the values of compassion and fairness that define us as a nation. This decision is not about criminal deportation. This is a clear act of persecution against our brothers and sisters from Venezuela, Colombia, Honduras, El Salvador, and other nations. It is an unjust and unnecessary attack on families who contribute daily to our communities. And as if that were not enough, our dreamers, young people who have known no other home but the United States, are being denied access to affordable education. Blocking them from receiving in-state tuition is not just cruel. It is short-sighted and economically harmful. These students have excelled in our schools, overcome obstacles with their determination, and proven time and time again that they are essential to Florida's future. Education should never be a privilege reserved for a few. It is a right that empowers individuals and strengthens our state. Let me be clear. Florida's prosperity is tied to the success of our immigrant communities.